All right, the WNBA draft is tonight. The NFL draft is 10 days and counting away. We've got a squad together. Nick is here, Schrager is here, and Dan Graziano. Let's run the hurry up because things are happening that will affect it, we think, like in Cleveland.
Yeah, Cleveland signing Joe Flacco, I mean, it could affect it. It kind of really reflects more the uncertainty. Is Cleveland going to be able to get a quarterback at the top of the second round if they pass on one at the top of the first? Are they going to be able to trade for Kirk Cousins? They can't know these things for sure yet. Flacco's a guy they like. He played for them a couple of years ago. They made the playoffs. Low-risk deal. They bring in Flacco. We'll see how that quarterback room develops as the offseason moves along. Giants picking at number 3 right behind Cleveland. Look, what are they going to do? Are they going to take the quarterback, Shedeur Sanders? Everybody wants to know. It doesn't sound likely. You can't rule anything out. It's 10 days to go. Things can change. But it starts to sound like the Giants are more comfortable looking at the top of the second round for their quarterback and taking either Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter at number 3, whichever one the Browns haven't taken. And then at number 9 are the Saints. And this became very interesting on Friday afternoon when there was a report that Derek Carr, their starting quarterback, has a shoulder injury that could threaten his availability for the 2025 season. Now people want to know, does that mean they're more likely to take a quarterback at number 9? Could that be the Shedeur Sanders landing spot? I would say yes, but I don't think that's necessarily because of a potential Derek Carr injury. The Saints should have been looking quarterback at that point anyway because they know that Carr is not going to be their long-term answer. He's only signed for one more year anyway. So if they like Shedeur Sanders at 9, sure, they have a chance to take him, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's because they're giving up on Carr for this
That's
year.
where Mel mocked him last week. Mel mocked Shedeur Sanders 9 to New Orleans. What do you think, Schrager?
Look, I spent the weekend on the couch texting everyone in the NFL while watching the Masters and Peppa Pig with my 2-year-old, and I will tell you that this is a situation where I think the media might look at Shedeur Sanders in one way, and the teams might be evaluating him a little bit of a different way. And with 10 days left in the draft, I think it's fair to just level set expectations here. I don't have a team that is saying, oh my gosh, Shedeur Sanders, like we love Shedeur Sanders. A nice prospect. This is by no means a blue chip quarterback prospect. This is not Caleb Williams from a year ago. This is not Jayden Daniels from a year ago. Not Drake May from a year ago. So I personally don't have this top 3 hype. And again, to what Dan just said, there's a chance this could happen. He could go to the Browns 2. He could go to the Giants 3. They need quarterbacks. But just trying to level set expectations here, I don't know if Shedeur Sanders has looked the same way as some of these mock drafts are looking at him and how we're talking about him in the media.
To be clear, it would surprise you. Let's sort of narrow it down to that. If he were to go 2 or 3, you would be surprised.
10 days out, I would be very surprised if either of those teams took them with the 2nd or 3rd.
9 feels more?
9 feels more likely, but that would be a surprise for me as well. I'm not putting him there yet in ink either.
Nick, your thoughts?
Yeah, to Peter's point, I think the reason why he's not being mocked very high is because of his arm strength. But if you look at New Orleans, like that's a place that their most successful run was with Drew Brees, a quarterback who relied on everything but arm strength to have success. So I think you could maybe see a little bit of Shedeur in Drew Brees and maybe get excited about it. Then on top of it, their new coach, their quarterback guru, mastermind, Kellen Moore, is a quarterback who survived in the NFL without a great deal of arm strength. So if there is an organization that is not afraid of taking a risk on a player who doesn't have the big traits that everyone gets excited about, maybe it's the Saints.
And the other piece of this that then comes into it is Pittsburgh. And we're going to have Orlovsky a little bit later who will bring this up. But we know the Steelers, they're still sitting around waiting for Aaron Rodgers. They don't know. Candidly, at this moment, it feels like they don't know exactly what is going to happen here. How does that factor into all of this?
Shedeur Sanders visited the Pittsburgh Steelers late last week. I've talked to people there. It sounds like it was a good visit. They feel positive about him. Will he fall to them at 21? Will he drop to a point where they can make a small trade up to go get him if he's their guy? Remember, the Steelers do not have a second-round pick. They already traded it for DK Metcalf. So they may be the team that does have to reach a little bit if they want to get their quarterback answer if you don't want to wait until the 3rd round. So that's worth watching. And then if they don't trade up, if they're at 21, and then let's say the Browns or the Giants do like him, right? But they just didn't like him at 2 or 3. They didn't like him better than they had Travis Hunter. Then maybe that's a team, one of those teams at the top of the 2nd round could come up and try and jump the Steelers to get him. That may be it. But to Peter's point, you're not hearing a lot of clamoring for the guy. Maybe once he's in the teens and 20s, right. But at the very, very top.
I would also add, and this is, he's going to meet with the Raiders this week too, and they're at the 6th spot. they just signed Geno, and I don't think their plan with Geno Smith is a one-year deal with Geno Smith. So you're looking at a player who everyone says very positive things, and to Dominique's point, this guy is a great operator of the football. He is a great leader, all that stuff. He just doesn't have those wow intangibles or tangibles where everyone's like, I need this person running my franchise.
All right, I have to leave it there for the moment in the interest of time. There's a lot more to be said about this, a lot more to be uncovered, and we will as we go. The draft is a week from Thursday.
I always got a chip on my shoulder. Got something to prove out there.
You can't bring him down! What can Ashton Jeanty do?
Every opportunity that I get with the ball in my hands, I take pride in that.
Are you serious? Put up the numbers, young man. You can make that pose.
Ashton Jeanty, headlining the deepest running back draft class in almost 2 decades. Scouts Inc. has 11 running backs in their top 100, the most since 2008. And that draft class, man, that was a good one. It was so deep that Jamal Charles was picked in the 3rd round. He ended up, of course, being a 2-time All-Pro. Other big names, including Chris Johnson and Matt Forte. So here to help us sort out the stacked class of 2025 is NFL draft analyst Jordan Reed. And Jeanty has deservedly received the most attention among running backs in this draft cycle. But Jordan, give us 3 other names that we should be paying attention to.
Yeah, Hannah, this is a stacked running back class, really the best one since 2017, but some early names to keep an eye on, especially in the early rounds. The first one is Travion Henderson to the Washington Commanders. The Commanders have Brian Robinson and Austin Eckler in the backfield right now. Both of those guys are both on the final year of their contract, so Henderson is one name I think they're going to be really interested in. It would not surprise me if he's that 3rd running back that goes in the 1st round behind Ashton Jeanty as well as Amarion Hampton. So keep an eye on him at number 29 overall. Staying in that Ohio State backfield, I'm going to go with Quinshon Judkins to the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys obviously have a huge need for a young bell cow running back in their backfield. Keep in mind, he ran a 4.48 at 6 foot 221 pounds. He really helped himself coming out of the scouting combine. He's an aggressive, high energy and physical runner that I think can help the Cowboys right away. Number 44 overall in the 2nd round is where I would keep an eye on with that. And then lastly, Caleb Johnson to the 49ers. This is a match made in heaven just because that Kyle Shanahan outside zone scheme, he's a one cut and go runner. He's perfect for that scheme. And the 49ers historically have liked to target running backs in the 3rd and 4th rounds. They have 2 picks in the 3rd round and then also the 4th round. So Caleb Johnson definitely is a name to keep an eye on. Number 75 overall in the 3rd round. I think they could look to target him at that spot.
By the way, Jordan has a 7-round mock coming out on the 21st. So going deep with the knowledge there. Running back clearly has some quality in this draft. But I'm wondering, Jordan, which position has the least depth where teams are going to have to hop on it early if they have a need?
For me, it would be linebacker. There just isn't that marquee name outside of Jahad Campbell of Alabama in this year's draft class. And Campbell, I think he's far and away the best linebacker in this year's draft class. But if you look at some other names, Carson Schlesinger of UCLA is another name that's creating a lot of intrigue. Demetrius Knight, I think Tampa Bay